VF-1 Valkyrie. The VF-1 Valkyrie is the machine that defined the entire Macross franchise. First appearing in the original Super Dimension Fortress Macross, it was humanity's first true transforming variable fighter, built from reverse-engineered alien technology discovered inside the crashed SDF-1 spaceship. Its design allowed it to shift between three forms: fighter mode for space and aerial combat, Gerwalk mode for stability and hovering attacks, and Batroid mode for close combat on the ground. What made the VF-1 special was how believable it felt. Unlike many giant robots from earlier anime, it behaved more like a real military aircraft. The creators even worked closely with real aviation concepts, and the fighter mode itself strongly resembled the American F-14 Tomcat. Pilots like Hikaru Ichijio turned the VF-1 into one of anime's most iconic mecha, and nearly every variable fighter that came later inherited its transformation philosophy. VF-0 Phoenix. The VF-0 Phoenix appeared much later in Macross Zero, but chronologically it comes before the VF-1. It represents the early experimental stage of variable fighter technology during the final years before Space War I. The aircraft looks rougher and more mechanical than later Valkyries, with visible joints and heavy engineering details that make it feel unfinished in a realistic way. The VF-0 matters because it bridges the gap between ordinary jet fighters and the advanced transforming machines humanity would later mass-produce. It was powerful but unstable, and many systems were still dangerous to pilots. Its story also introduced the emotional and mysterious connection between alien protoculture technology and human consciousness, something that became increasingly important throughout Macross history. SV-51. The SV-51 served as the anti-UN counterpart to the VF-0 in Macross Zero. Built by opposing forces during the Unification Wars, the SV-51 was sleek, predatory, and extremely agile. Its design leaned heavily into real-world stealth fighter influences while still maintaining the dramatic transformation style Macross is known for. Unlike the more heroic appearance of the VF-0, the SV-51 looked dangerous even while standing still. Pilots such as Nora Polyansky used it with frightening efficiency. The machine also showed how variable fighter development quickly became an arms race, with nations and factions competing to master alien technology before anyone else could. YF-19. The YF-19 became famous through Macross Plus as one of the most beloved variable fighters ever created. Designed by Shinsei Industry, it was built for speed, responsiveness, and extreme maneuverability. The aircraft almost behaved like an extension of the pilot's own instincts. Its pilot, Isamu Dyson, pushed the machine beyond safe operational limits constantly, and the YF-19 reflected his reckless personality. The fighter introduced advanced control systems and experimental technology that would later influence future Valkyries. Many fans consider it the spiritual successor to the VF-1 because of its bold silhouette and heroic presence. YF-21. The YF-21 was the direct rival to the YF-19 during the Supernova project in Macross Plus. While the YF-19 focused on raw pilot freedom, the YF-21 emphasized machine integration and neural control systems. Instead of traditional controls, pilots could partially operate it using brainwave inputs. Its smooth, organic design made it feel alien compared to earlier Valkyries. The aircraft moved with almost unnatural precision, especially in the hands of Gould Goa Bowman. The YF-21 also foreshadowed one of Macross's recurring themes: the fear that advanced military technology could eventually overpower human emotion and judgment. VF-11 Thunderbolt. The VF-11 Thunderbolt became the standard mass production fighter during the era after the original Macross series. Appearing across several entries, including Macross 7, the VF-11 was reliable, practical, and far more affordable than experimental ace machines. Compared to the flashy prototypes surrounding it, the VF-11 looked simpler and more utilitarian. That was intentional. In the Macross universe, not every pilot could receive a cutting-edge Valkyrie, so the VF-11 represented the everyday backbone of military forces across human space colonies. Its widespread use gave the franchise a stronger sense of scale and realism. VF-17 Nightmare. The VF-17 Nightmare was built as a heavy special operations variable fighter, With its dark armored appearance and stealth-focused profile, it stood apart immediately from most Valkyries. It appeared prominently in Macross 7 and was especially associated with elite military units. The machine sacrificed some agility for durability and firepower. In Batroid mode, it looked imposing and intimidating, almost like a futuristic armored knight. The VF-17 helped expand the idea that variable fighters were not all designed around the same philosophy. Some were meant for speed, while others existed for tactical superiority and survivability. VF-19 Excalibur. The VF-19 Excalibur evolved directly from the YF-19 prototype and became one of the franchise's most versatile fighters. It appeared in multiple Macross series and variations, with each version customized for different military roles and pilots. The design retained the aggressive forward-swept wings and high-speed personality of its predecessor, but with more stable production systems. Pilots in specialized units often preferred the VF-19 because it balanced speed, transformation performance, and heavy weapon support better than many competitors. Over time, the Excalibur became one of the defining symbols of late-generation variable fighter engineering. VF-22 Sturmvogel II. The VF-22 Sturmvogel II was the production successor to the YF-21. It kept the sleek, almost organic design language while refining its advanced neural technologies. Unlike many heroic-looking Valkyries, the VF-22 felt cold and surgical, perfectly suited for elite military operations. In series like Macross 7, it became associated with high-ranking ace pilots and covert missions. The machine represented the more controlled and disciplined path of variable fighter evolution, standing in direct contrast to the instinct-driven VF-19 family. VF-25 Messiah. The VF-25 Messiah became the centerpiece of Macross Frontier. Designed for modular warfare, the VF-25 could equip different armor and weapon packs depending on mission requirements. This made it highly adaptable in both space and atmospheric combat. Pilots like Alto Sayotomi brought tremendous agility to the machine, especially during the series' elaborate aerial battle scenes. The VF-25 also benefited from advances in fold quartz technology, linking it closely to the emotional and musical elements that define later Macross stories. VF-27 Lucifer. The VF-27 Lucifer served as one of the most advanced antagonistic variable fighters in Macross Frontier. Operated by the mysterious Vajra-affiliated forces, the fighter possessed superior speed, reaction time, and biological integration systems. Its sharp wings and glowing energy systems made it appear almost alive. Unlike older Valkyries that clearly looked mechanical, the VF-27 blurred the line between machine and organism. The fighter reinforced the growing idea within Macross that future warfare would increasingly merge technology with consciousness itself. YF-29 Durandal. The YF-29 Durandal debuted in Macross Frontier, The Wings of Goodbye, and quickly became a fan favorite. Built as an ultra-high performance prototype, it pushed variable fighter engineering to absurd levels of speed and mobility. The aircraft featured elegant wing structures, overwhelming firepower, and exceptional transformation performance. It was essentially the dream version of a Valkyrie, combining experimental technologies from multiple previous generations. In visual terms, the YF-29 represented the modern polished style of Macross mecha design at its peak. VF-31 Siegfried. The VF-31 Siegfried became the signature fighter of Macross Delta. Operated by Delta Flight, the machine emphasized high maneuverability and synchronized tactical movement alongside music-based battlefield support systems. Each pilot's VF-31 carried unique color schemes and slight configuration differences, giving the team strong visual identity. The fighter itself was agile and elegant, almost dancing through combat rather than simply attacking. This reflected how later Macross series leaned more heavily into the connection between aerial combat, idle music, and emotional resonance. SV-262 Draken III. The SV-262 Draken III acted as the rival machine to the VF-31 in Macross Delta. Built by the Kingdom of Windermere, it combined sharp medieval-inspired aesthetics with advanced variable fighter engineering. The Draken III moved aggressively and efficiently, often overpowering standard Valkyries through sheer speed and pilot skill. Its design emphasized the cultural identity of Windermere itself, showing once again how Macross often ties technology directly to politics, society, and ideology, rather than treating machines as simple weapons. VF-171 Nightmare Plus. The VF-171 Nightmare Plus served as the standard military variable fighter during the Frontier era. Based on the older VF-17 design, it modernized the concept into a more balanced and mass-producible unit. Although it lacked the fame of elite prototype fighters, the VF-171 appeared constantly throughout large-scale military operations. That consistency gave it importance. In the Macross universe, ordinary soldiers and support units are just as necessary as ace pilots, and the VF-171 represented the dependable foundation holding entire fleets together. VF-2SS Valkyrie II. The VF-2SS Valkyrie II came from Super Dimension Fortress Macross II, a sequel created outside the original continuity for many years. Its design evolved the classic VF-1 silhouette into something sharper and more futuristic, while maintaining recognizable transformation mechanics. Even though Macross II occupies an unusual place in franchise history, the VF-2SS remained memorable because of its elegant proportions and strong visual connection to early Valkyries. For many fans, it represents an alternate path Macross design could have followed during the 1990s. VF-4 Lightning III. The VF-4 Lightning III first appeared near the end of the original Macross timeline and later received expanded attention in games and supplementary material. Its long nose, forward wings, and streamlined structure gave it a distinctive high-speed interceptor appearance. The VF-4 helped bridge the visual evolution between the simple VF-1 era and the far more advanced designs that followed. Even though it rarely occupied center stage in television series, its influence remained visible in many later variable fighters that borrowed elements from its aerodynamic philosophy.